of what parallelograms are. So please write in that parallelogram box there. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral. So because I'm designating it as a quadrilateral, that means that it has 4 sides. So a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Hence why we call it a parallelogram, right? So if I have both sets of opposite sides parallel, then I have enough information to say, hey, that shape's got to be a parallelogram. Now think back to that cumulative review worksheet that you guys did for homework over the weekend. What do we know about parallel lines? They have the same, what? We had 2 problems on our cumulative review that we had to find something to determine whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. What did we find? We found the slopes, right? So the slopes of parallel lines will end up being the same. Keep that in the back of your head because that will be coming into play tomorrow. All right, so then we have a bunch of theorems. Theorem 8.3 tells us that if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite sides will also be congruent. Which, again, maybe you already knew that, you just weren't thinking about it. So for the picture part, make yourself a parallelogram and put little tick marks to show congruent opposite sides. So we know that we have opposite parallel sides. Now we just added my opposite sides will be congruent. So in this diagram, QP is congruent to RS, and QR is congruent to PS. Any guesses on what would be true about angle S and angle Q? Yeah. What about angle R and angle P? Do they look like they would be the same? Yes. So that gets us to theorem 8.4. So theorem 8.4 says if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite angles are congruent. So again, make yourself a parallelogram and put little arcs inside the angles to show that the opposite angles are congruent to each other. Okay, so we've got parallel lines, we've got opposite sides parallel, we've got opposite sides congruent, we've got opposite angles congruent. So now let's use those 2 theorems to solve these bottom 2 problems. Is everybody okay? All right, so first example. We want to solve for the values of x and y. So let's start with x. Is x a side length or in an angle? It's on a side length. It's on side length AB, which would be congruent to the opposite side, which would be DC. So can someone give me an equation to solve for x? X plus 4 equals 12. Good. So x would be equal to 8. Now we need to solve for y. Y is inside an angle, and I know it's attached to an angle because it has a little degree sign there. It's in angle A. Angle A is congruent to angle C, so y would have to equal 65. Good. All right. Don't make it any more challenging than that. Okay, so now at the second example, it's asking for what value of x would the quadrilateral be a parallelogram? What would x need to be? 66. If it was 65, would it be a parallelogram anymore? No, because my opposite angles would not be congruent, which means it would not be a parallelogram. Good. All right, so we know that opposite angles are congruent. What do you think is true about the angles that are next to each other? They're supplementary. And why would they be supplementary? What do we call those angles when we have parallel lines and the angles that are both on the inside and next to each other? Consecutive interior angles, right? Think back to chapter 3. If lines are parallel, the consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its consecutive angles are supplementary. Would be theorem, the next theorem, what is it, 8 point, where are we at, 4, 5? 5. So in your picture, we have, again, quadrilateral QRSP. Q is X, R is Y, S is X, P is Y. And I would know that the X plus the Y would have to equal 180. And it works in any order. It could be this X and Y is supplementary, but it could also be this X and Y being supplementary. Because if it's a parallelogram, then I also know that RS is also congruent to QP, so angle Q and angle R would also be consecutive interior angles. So angles that are next to each other, which consecutive is just a fancy word for that, would be supplementary. Opposite angles will be congruent. Okay. All right, so if we look at example 3, we need to find the measure of angle B. What do you think it's going to be? Measure of angle B would be equal to whatever 180 minus 51 is. So 129. So the measure of angle B would be equal to 129 degrees. Example 4, how would we solve for x? What would my equation be? To figure out what value of x the quadrilateral would be a parallelogram. What? Yeah, we want to make them supplementary, so I'm going to do x plus 10 plus 2x plus 20 equals 180. Right, combine your like terms. So 1x and plus a 2x, I see 3x. 10 and 20 makes 30 equals 180. Subtracting 30 from 180 gets me 150. Dividing by 3 gets me x is equal to 50. So if x is equal to 50, that would make my consecutive angles supplementary, which would then make my quadrilateral a parallelogram. Okay, nothing too crazy yet? All right, so we've got one more theorem, which maybe this is one that you would not have known. So this might be new. You probably could have figured out the other stuff. So theorem 8.6 says, if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its diagonals bisect. What does that word mean again? Cuts it into two congruent parts, right? So if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram and then its diagonals bisect each other. So if we had quadrilateral QRSP and you sketch in the diagonal QS and you sketch in the diagonal QP, then point M, which would be in the middle, would be the midpoint of both those diagonals. So R to M would be the same distance as M to P. S to M would be the same distance to M to Q. So the diagonals will bisect each other. Okay. So for example 5, the directions say X and Y, but it looks like we're finding A and B. Let's find A first. Give me an equation to solve for A. I see an A up here, and I see an A down at the other end down here. So what am I going to do with those two expressions? Set them equal to each other. So A equals 2A minus 8. Negative A equals negative 8. So A is equal to positive 8. What equation will we do for B? B plus 10 equals 3B minus 2. Subtracting a B gets me 10 equals 2B minus 2. Adding 2 gets me 12 equals 2B. So B is equal to 6. And what will we do for the last example? For what value of x would the quadrilateral be a parallelogram? Well, in order for it to be a parallelogram, your diagonals would need to bisect each other, which means each of those would need to be equal to each other, so we would set them equal. So 3x equals 5x minus 8. Subtracting 5x gets me negative 2x equals negative 8. Dividing by negative 2, x is equal to. That's it.